In this question and answer, I'm going to talk about some folks that have an 8-week-old Beagle that has strong prey drive. And there are some things that they're doing wrong that result in this puppy biting them. And I question whether the puppy's biting through aggression at 8 weeks of age. I'll let you read it, I'll read it, and then we're going to talk about it, because there's some mistakes being made here. It says, "Hi, I recently bought an 8-week-old Beagle pup. She has a serious temper when she's playing with us. She will actually hiss like a cat, show her teeth, and draw blood if she gets to us. I'm concerned that I'm overly playing too hard with her, and that's why she's doing what she's doing. But even if she's chewing on a wire, I don't get that. Even if she's chewing on a wire and I try and get her away from what she's chewing on, the wire, she really growls. Not all the time is she mean, but I'm afraid she will never get out of this behavior. She will let us put our hand in her food dish when there's food in it and kiss us and play, but 1 minute she's doing good, then the next minute she's biting us, growling, and her tail is under her, and please help us because we have a problem, Cindy." Well, they do have a problem. I don't think that they're approaching raising this puppy correctly. The first thing that I'd do is direct her to the course that we have on how to raise puppies. No one, and I've said this again and again in my videos, in my online courses, that no one should take their hand and try and take a food bowl away from a dog after they've put the food down there. It's just not fair. It's not building a relationship with your dog. It's hurting the relationship with your dog. It's an old wives' tale to be able to say, okay, I put a food bowl down, I can put my hand and play with the food when my dog's eating it. No, this 8-week-old puppy's showing her that's not the right thing to do. And it's not the right thing to do. What we do is, and you can do what you want, but we feed our dogs, and we have 4 dogs that live in our home. We feed our dogs twice a day, in the morning and the evening. We feed them in dog crates, or 3 of them in separate X pens, and we put the food down and we leave them alone. We put the food down for 15 minutes, and if a dog hasn't eaten that food in 15 minutes, we open the crate, let the dog come out, we take the food and put it in the fridge, and that's the food they get in the next feeding. But that's one way where our dogs learn to trust us. They know that we're not going to fool with them when they're eating their food. And people that stick their hands in the food, I just shake my head, because it's going to create a lifelong problem where that dog doesn't trust the owner around the food. It's going to create a dog that's guardy or resource guards. The food bowl resource guards the food, resource guards a bone if they have a bone. And none of that has to happen. It just doesn't have to happen. And as far as this puppy biting them, they are, it's hard without seeing what they're doing. I don't understand how they would say that they play with a wire. I don't get that. But as a general rule, young puppies from the time they're 8 weeks old until teething, we will use food to play with our dog or to train our dog. We might have, because of their teeth, we might have a real soft, squishy ball that we could toss and play. But as far as playing tug or something with a dog, that usually comes after the dog is done teething. Because the young dogs from 8 weeks to 4 or 5 months, they don't have a big interest in playing tug. And they just blow it off. People think, oh, my dog has no prey drive, it doesn't want to play tug. Well, it has, and after it's done teething, it's like a light switch goes off, and all of a sudden the dog wants to play tug again. We still encourage food rewards with those dogs because we've set the foundation in the early months with high-value food rewards, and we've used them when we worked on engagement. We used them when we worked on marker training, charge the mark, and fun games of teach the dog to down and to sit for food as a game without any corrections. And so they get the foundation of food. When they move into older 6 months, then they can play tug. What else does she say in this? She wonders if that dog will ever get out of that behavior. I would say that the dog's not going to get out of the behavior unless she changes the way that she works and handles this dog. Let the dog be a puppy. I've said this before in other questions and answers and in my courses that when puppies grow up in a litter, the only way that they know how to react is to jump on one another and play fight and bite one another and drag each other around, or they bite one another and the one they bite screams like the dickens, and then the one that's doing the biting lets go because he feels like he just won. That's the only way these puppies, when they come into a human's home, know how to react. They don't know how to react any other way. They've never learned any other way. That's their method of communications. We have to teach them that there's another way. And we do it by redirecting them. When they're biting, we'll have high-value food rewards with us in a bait pouch. And when I mean high-value food, a little piece of cheese, a little piece of meat, small pieces for puppies. And we'll redirect them off of biting us onto this food reward. And that's the best way to be careful with a dog like this. But again, with this lady, I would recommend the online course that I did titled Your Puppy 8 Weeks to 12 Months. We have an excellent online course that we did with Michael Ellis on how to raise puppies. We have an excellent online course we did with Michael on how to build a relationship with your dog. That's the information that's going to turn this puppy around and make it a very friendly, happy family dog. So in closing here, I need to talk about the fact of where these questions and answers come from. They come from the Ask Cindy portal on the front of Leerburg.com. Cindy's my wife. And if you don't need to be a customer of Leerburg to ask a question. If you have a question on training, if you have a question on raising puppies, on healthcare, on breeding, feel free to log in. And you do need to put your email address because the email is tied to the question that you have. And if Cindy comes back, or if you come back a week or a month or a year later, she can call up all of the questions and answers that you've written in on and review them. And it's just a better way for her to help. We don't sell mailing lists. We don't spam people with our mailing list. We do have two weekly newsletters that go out, but people can opt into those newsletters. If they want to opt out, they're off the list and they don't get a newsletter. They also don't learn about when we have good sales on our online courses either, or on the equipment that we sell. So, if you have a question, ask Cindy. She answers them usually the day after people write them in, unless she's not feeling good or unless she's traveling.